Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Senator Heinrich, other members of the committee. Thank you for having me here today. Senator Alexander, I will just note that in college I wrote a 20-page research paper on why James K. Polk was the most underrated president, and I will be happy if I can figure out a way to get my Apple IIe computer to work again to print that off for you. For your efforts. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm here to testify, as you mentioned, on a bill that this committee has considered before, and I thank the committee and all the staff for its work on the Lower Farmington River and Salmon Brook Wild and Scenic River Act. The journey to obtain this designation began over a decade ago, when local residents in the towns of Avon, Bloomfield, Burlington, Canton, East Granby, Farmington, Granby, Hartland, Simsbury, and Windsor, Connecticut, came together to form a unique partnership to protect this river. And it's my hope that with your help, the amazing community-driven work that's been done can be finally endorsed this year through a federal designation for the Lower Farmington River and the Salmon Brook. There really is an amazing ecological, recreational, and historic story to tell about this stretch of river. I just want to briefly mention a few of the highlights. Ecologically, this is a really important stretch of river. For those of you that care about shellfish, and we care a lot about them in the Northeast, this is the only known river to support all 12 native New England freshwater mussel species, including the only federally endangered freshwater mussel that occurs in New England. It also has some of the highest water quality in all of Connecticut, and so it provides excellent fishing for brown trout, brook trout, and salmon. As many fishermen will tell you, the cold water trout fisheries of the Salmon Brook provide some of the most outstanding opportunities for angling anywhere in the Northeast. Recreationally, the Tariffville Gorge in Simsbury, which is part of this stretch of river, as well as in East Granby, provides premier whitewater paddling and has been the location for world-class paddling competitions. It's also one of the very few rivers in the East where there's year-round paddling opportunities. The Tariffville Whitewater Triple Crown Challenge just wrapped up a few weeks ago, and this event has attracted competitors from all around the world, including U.S. Olympic team members. Historically, this river is also pretty astounding as well. Over 100 prehistoric archaeological sites have been discovered to date in the Lower Farmington River and Salmon Brook corridors. It's been continuously occupied. This is really remarkable. It's been continuously occupied by human settlement for over 11,000 years. And most recently, of those 11,000 years, in the 1800s, it was really one of the most active sites of the Underground Railroad. Farmington was referred to as the Grand Central Station of the railroad because of its robust abolitionist activities. This bill began back in the mid-2000s when my predecessor in the House of Representatives, Congresswoman Nancy Johnson, helped enact legislation that initiated the study on which this present bill is based. The study was completed in 2011, and it confirmed the suitability of designating the Lower Farmington River and Salmon Brook as wild and scenic. This is also the product of these 10 towns coming together. There are Republican and Democratic local administrations in all of these towns. They all support it. Does not represent the federal government stepping in to manage the river. Rather, the bill serves to complement the independent work of a group of Connecticut communities that are simply looking for a committed partner at the federal level. To my mind, this bill really embodies what Congress should be doing. We're listening to the needs of local residents, and we are supporting their work. It's a model that's worked elsewhere in the state. In fact, the upper 14-mile portion of the Farmington River was designated as wild and scenic in 1994. So we already have federal designation on the upper portion of this river. This is seeking designation for the lower portion as well. Finally, since last year's hearing on the bill, I've worked very closely with the Park Service and one specific dam operator along the river to craft an amendment that ensures the interests of all stakeholders, the towns and the companies who own property along the river, so that they're all taken into account. So we are here today with full support from all of the stakeholders for this underlying bill and the amendment. During last year's hearing on the legislation, the National Park Service spoke positively about the bill, but stopped short of endorsing it because the Park Service study report had not been completed. The study is now complete, and I hope that you'll hear today endorsement for this bill. Again, thank the committee for all of its work on this bill. This is the second time before you. Hope that this is a fairly non-controversial measure. As I said, we have really wonderful, broad, bipartisan support for this bill. All of the stakeholders are behind it. Given the fact that the upper portion of the river has already gotten this designation, hopefully it makes this bill even easier. Thank you for your time.